A deaf experience. Hello, what's your name?
Hi. Yes, my name is Arthur. My sign name is Arthur. Welcome.
Every deaf and hard of hearing person has unique experiences. What has your deaf experience been like?
The first time that I started learning ASL when I was about 20 years old at the Ontario School for the Deaf in Milton. The reason why I started that late is because I wanted to communicate with the deaf students there at that time. Before I started learning sign language, I was brought up orally most of my life. Despite that I am deaf, yes, I wear hearing aids and I lip read most of the time. Really, I'm happy that I did it. I'm happy that I learned the sign language. And before I went to Gallaudet University, I had the opportunity to communicate with my classmates and friends.
What is the deaf community like?
Well, the deaf community is very, very diversity. The cultural is different. The communication is different. There's so many different kind of deaf people, hard of hearing, how they communicate in the community. For example, most of the deaf people will use ASL or Sign English, SEE, and a lot of them was brought up into the deaf world, where for me, I was brought up in two worlds, both deaf and hearing world. So the community out there is really different. It's depending on who you talk to, it depends on how you see it. Getting together, for example, the ASL meetup group or Deaf Coffee Night.
Here are some hearing people practicing ASL at a meetup. What are some common misconceptions?
That, I would have to say, there are issues involved in the community where some deaf people would use only ASL. Maybe the English language is different, how they were brought up in school, education, work, whatever the situation is. There has been times for me where I watch a deaf person how they sign, because my sign would be different than their sign. Maybe I won't understand what they're talking about, or maybe they will not understand what I'm talking about. So really, it depends on who, it depends on how they sign, their facial expression, their feelings, their body language. There's so many different ways of showing it.
Do you know any ASL? Try taking a class. Attend a meetup group to practice and learn with others. Watch some YouTube videos. Have you ever wondered why learning a sign language isn't as common as other languages like French or Spanish, even though it's so important for deaf people to communicate? Credits: Interviewee Arthur Gunter. Interviewer/video editor Daphna Godovich. Filming Karen Robbins and Gabe Robbins. Filmed at the Canadian Language Museum.